Hey, how you doing, sir? You all right?
Yeah, I'm here.
Back to another episode of Man Up Monday. I said, let me try to get another Man Up Monday, the last one of the year 2020. But
All right.
how things going in Memphis, Tennessee, brother?
They'll manage.
I
They'll
was
manage.
it's mighty interesting. Now you had your his brother Sakima Bay on with us yesterday, bring brother Ron Hurd. So you had that brother Sakima
Yeah.
Bay. He brought a lot of stuff of constitutional law to the conversation. He's brilliant. I must say that I'm glad you worked with him. Just a shout out to Sakima Bay for his work yesterday with us. We had a thing for 3 hours yesterday. So yeah, but otherwise, speaking of constitutional law, and man, Monday, I gotta ask you a question. Down here in Virginia now they want us to I think next month they're gonna start saying your guns are gonna have to be like if you go to concealed carry class, you gotta come in person and you just can't take it online anymore. What do you think about that?
Well, one they have around here is you have to go in and demonstrate that you can shoot. So you have to go out on the range with whoever is running the class. Is that what they're talking about in Virginia?
Yeah, that's how it looks like the legislators coming up with there. I know people,
I
including
know, but
myself.
these people see it's all about intent. If you're trying to deal with competence, yeah, it's like driver's license. You have to go in and pass the written test, and they have to test you to see if you can drive. Now, the first driving test I took on my 16th birthday, my old man took me down to the DMV in California, and they gave everybody in that situation a show up time so they could get you in a car and see how you drove in California rush hour traffic on the LA freeways. And it was a 2 hour long driving test. It got you on the freeway in heavy congestion to see how you changed lanes, signal, looked in your rear view mirror. You not only had to do the signal turn lights, you had to use your arm and do the arm signals. You were required to park next to a curb. They put an orange cone in front of your car marked off by a measuring stick, one in the back. You had to leave the parking space without bumping those cones and then come back and parallel park between them. They give you a pretty vigorous test. Nowadays, to get your driver's license, all you have to do is back out of the head end space in the DMV, go to the gate, make a right, go to the corner at the stop sign, make a right, make another right at the next corner, which had no stop sign at all, drive down to a stop light, make a right, make another right, come back into the DMV lot and park in a head end space. That's not adequate to see if you know how to drive a vehicle. Same thing with getting a carry license. You ought to be able to reasonably use what you're carrying.
Okay.
But sometimes what you have to deal with is the underlying intent is they just want to make it more onerous so that people will not be able to get the things. Now, you can see that in some of the militia groups. I see people meaning well, they've got on equipment they've never worn. The equipment is for a show, and then they sweep people with the muzzles and they break all kinds of safe firearms handling habits, and it looks kind of disgraceful, but you know, they mean
Speaking of,
well, but
speaking of that,
somebody's going to get hit.
speaking of that, I'm glad you mentioned that because the Grandmaster Jay, the militia that was in Louisville, he got arrested last week.
I know.
Um,
For supposedly pointing a weapon at a cop in Virginia in some demonstration several months ago.
okay. Now I know he had a police escort in one of those protests, probably mostly all of them. But what do you think about his situation?
I have no
Um,
idea. I don't know what they're basing it on. The surmise would probably be he swept somebody with the muzzle of his weapon and they were looking at the video and decided to go against him. I don't know. But anytime you put yourself in a position where you're trying to lead something like this, they're going to come at you. It's not even all cops, it's just some that resent it. There might be some that aren't into Second Amendment, they're against it. Some cops are vehemently against Second Amendment, some cops are all for it. I know a bunch of them, and I've seen them actually get in loud yelling matches at bars about it. Like,
you know,
what happens if you decide to have people put in some draconian anti Second Amendment stuff? Some cops are saying they would refuse to arrest anybody for something like that or serve a search warrant. And others are, they don't need weapons. We're the ones that have the weapons. And then other folks say, oh, go to hell. You lost your mind. As crazy as you are, somebody needs to defend themselves against you. You should see what happens. I mean, cops are just people. Some of them are more or less better people than others. Some of them are scared, some of them are not. Some of them support the Constitution, others just give lip service to it. So I don't know what happened with this.
I'm glad you
I can
mentioned
only
the
really
Constitution there.
speculate.
I'm glad you mentioned the Constitution because Bishop is in the chat and he asked, "What do you think about the Obama heavy proposed Biden administration?" Before I get to that, your brother Sakima Bay was on my brother Ron's podcast today with me, and he was actually saying by the Constitution, actually Biden cannot be president because Kamala Harris is not even eligible herself.
She's eligible.
Okay, well maybe he could be wrong
I
on that,
disagree with him on that. She's
but
born in San Francisco, so she's eligible. She is born on American soil. The Constitution defines citizenship in two places. One, to establish general citizenship, and basically all it is required is that one of your parents be an American citizen, in which case it does not matter where in the world you are born, you are an American citizen. But unless you were born on American soil, you can't run for president or vice president or be one.
I got now
Now,
the
that
other
part is interesting, but it doesn't make any difference if your parents are foreigners as long as you're born on American soil, which is an American territory, protectorate, uh, territory, American state territory, protectorate, military or naval base, enclave, um, consulate or embassy, you're eligible to be a U.S. president.
yeah,
Cruz,
I
who
got
was from Texas, was the runner up to Trump in 2016 in the Republican primary situation, but he wasn't eligible to be U.S. president because he was born in Canada. But the press didn't touch on that.
I
So
think
that's
that
just
well,
a
I think that
derelict press.
well, I think that's what Sakima was talking about that she was
Camilla Harris was
actually
born in San Francisco,
well,
so
well yeah
she's eligible.
I think he was saying that she was born in Canada, but that's why I brought it up. But
Well, her birth certificate says San Francisco, and I recognize the birth certificate because my last ex wife was born in the same 12-month period at the same hospital, and that's what hers looks like. Well,
yeah,
let me take that back. What Harris's looks like is what they had 11 to 12 years later, and it's from the same hospital, but it looks like a reissue. And that's probably a duplicate she got when she was trying to get accepted into Howard University. I
now
helped two people that worked on my show to get their birth certificates from that same situation. They were born 10, 11 years after my wife, 12, 14. And that's what theirs look like. But anyway, it is what it is.
Here's the thing,
She's got to
because
be sworn in first.
I
She
mentioned
haven't been
to
yet.
him because I mentioned to him yesterday that on the same podcast that now that the curtain is coming up open and now you're seeing the election fraud. I said that unfortunately black women are not the only ones doing this, but that woman Ruby Freeman, Stephanie I think it was one named Hawkins, I forgot her last name was Hawkins, and that was in Michigan, and this other one was in Georgia. Now they're investigating Stacey Abrams for election fraud in Georgia. And I'm sitting there saying, this today, the National Intelligence Director even said that they can't even go forward, and they talking about even suspend the election till
Well,
February.
let me just cut all that off. It's up to the states to determine
Okay.
who the electors are, because people don't get educated about this. The modern American thinks of 230, 240 million people in the United States, and that's who 340 million people in the United States, and that's who elects the president for the United States. That's not what's going on. It is a union of 50 sovereign states that are indivisible after the Civil War. But it's those 50 sovereign states that pick the representatives that will go to D.C. and pass the laws that affect the union that they're part of and the citizens that are residents of the state in question. And also, the states select the representatives, that is, the board of electors that go to D.C. with the specific mandate and specific purpose of selecting the chief executive officer that will manage the affairs of the 50 states in the union. So they keep talking about we need just a popular vote, but that's not what it's about, because in theory, it's the states themselves that determine what's going on, and each state is a sovereign entity.
I
Well,
got you.
that being the case, you have to have so many electors that vote for a given candidate to get him over the 70 limit. What is it, 200, 370 electoral college votes? And if you can't get that, then by operation of the 12th Amendment and Article 2, Section 1.2 of the U.S. Constitution, the election goes to the House of Representatives. But interestingly enough, each state, no matter how big, gets just one vote. So if you look at the map, you will see that quite a few states are more states are red than they are blue. So that would kind of be indicative of the outcome of an election in the House. That means Trump would win. And right now, in terms of certified electors, he's still in the lead. Biden isn't. And if
That's right.
Twitter, for example, says Associated Press has called this election, well, the hell with Associated Press. That's just a bunch of 20-something-year-old know-nothings who just got out of college who are calling it, and they don't call it. It's the College of Electors who are selected to select
As a matter of fact,
the
Judge,
executive officer that will manage the union of 50 states.
as a matter of fact, Judge, it's kind of funny because you look at it by certified states, he's actually winning like 232 to 227. And now I'm gonna bring you up.
He needs 270.
No, I'm talking about
270. Did I say 270?
what he's winning with now. But what I'm
Well,
saying,
he hadn't won. He's just ahead. You have to get
yeah, I know I'm talking about the
270. If you
head. Yeah,
don't get
I'm talking about the
that,
head.
it
Yeah,
goes to the
ahead.
House. One
Yeah,
vote per state.
yeah. Well, let me say something because I wanted to bring up something because you said it happened to you in Memphis.
Oh,
You were
yeah.
saying,
Well, like let's take Memphis, Shelby County. The Justice Department said in 2006 that the voting machines are hacked. So they put the money up in 2012, no, 2008 to replace every machine. Well, they haven't. Then we find out here in Shelby County that in November the feds threatened to sue the county commissioners individually if they didn't okay the resolution to replace the machine. So they did, but they didn't tell the public. they bought the machines in January, but they still have them stored them in a warehouse, and they used the old machines for this election. So they had a state primary, a state final election, a federal primary, and a federal principal election. That's 4 elections, and they used the old machines and left the new ones stored in a warehouse. And somebody said, well, that meant they didn't have to install them. I said, but yeah, after each one of the 4 other elections, they had to put the machines in the warehouse, the old ones. They just brought the old ones back out instead of the new ones. See, so we got the same corrupt election.
Well, it's mighty funny you mentioned that because, and I know you said you ran against some people, and you ended up running against 5 people.
I ran against one opponent, a woman who was a lesbian, white, and there were only 2 of us in the race. And in Shelby County, what happens is each candidate has a candidate number, and the office has an office number. And for the office number, instead of there being just 2 candidates, there were 5 candidate numbers, and 3 of the numbers that represented absolutely nobody at all wound up getting 64,000 votes split between the 3 of them. And on write-in votes, there were percentages. In other words, you have to have a whole number because you can't have part of a person voting. But it was like 17.25 write-in votes. You can't have a quarter of a write-in vote. So that's prime evidence from an entity known as Black Box Inc. that goes around ferreting out election machine corruptions. We use an election machine that California and Ohio used to use, so did Hawaii. But Ohio threw theirs in the lake, and Hawaii and California put theirs in the ocean. And the only 2 counties in the whole United States that still use those machines are Shelby County, where Memphis is, and Haywood County, the next over. So it's interesting. All you need is a cell phone to hack them in the encryption code, which I have. And I publish that quite often just so the corruption will be obvious.
Now, let me bring something else up. A brother wants to know that you drop your book list. He want to know what books the judge recommends that we read.
Math, science, engineering, technology. I don't care if you read any particular somebody. Most of the people that you read kind of got a crank thing going anyway. So it would be better if you got the raw information and made up your own mind. Just start reading what's going on. Read some science and biology and get some ideas, because some of the stuff that people are so passionate about is just complete bullshit. Doesn't make any sense. It's not scientifically valid. Like we've got one right now about the way the thing goes is a 250,000 years ago, some aliens visited Earth and helped the Africans build the pyramids, and then brought them over to primal North America. And they settled here 250,000 years before the first Indians, Native Americans, migrated from Siberia through what's now Alaska. So, no, there weren't any aliens brought anybody over here after building any damn pyramids. And if you are a Mason and you get high enough in the order, you can learn just how they actually built the pyramids, and it's well within the capacity of humans to do that. It's no big secret. You just have to, well, I guess it is if you lack the knowledge and you're ignorant of it. But people built the damn things.
Okay, now I got it. Now, I thought you. I see. I might have mistaken something. I think he was talking about your book.
I know I had an old.
I'm talking about your old book.
List.
I thought you was writing the book. That's what I thought he meant.
I am. Yeah, I'm working on it.
Okay, that's what
actually.
Okay, that's what I thought he was talking about. I
had a book list that I was putting out. I forgot what it was on it from the last time. I know there was one book in there that you should read. It's called Humans from the Beginning. I forget who wrote it, but you can get it on Amazon, and you should get a Kindle and have it sent to your Kindle, and you can cross reference the authorities and research that they have by just touching the items in blue or the numbers in blue, and you'll go there. You'll have to learn how to work a Kindle so you don't get all twisted around, but it's worth the time.
Okay, now, because I gotta ask you some questions about this thing that happened down in your state. Matter of fact, at Vanderbilt University, about the woman playing on the field and the guys not Well, they basically said we're not gonna have enough players to suit up if you had this woman on the field again.
I agree with them.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah, that was
black coach, but his team's lousy. They have a horrible record. So there's no point trying to redeem yourself by getting some babe out there to get half killed. See, my son used to play football when he was in high school down here in Mississippi. My youngest, he's a big guy. He's like 6'4", weighed about 245, played defensive end in high school. And they had one high school team in the area that had one woman, and he said nobody liked to play against her because if you blocked her or tried to move her out of the way, she felt kind of squishy. And everybody was worried about, well, we got taught you don't hit girls, so nobody wanted to really hit her, but she wanted to go 110% on all the guys, so you just kind of just shoved her out of the way so you didn't have to really ooh wee on her, and just said it was a nuisance and it was not a habit they wanted to pick up of hitting some girl as hard as they'd hit a guy. In fact, they tried to avoid hitting her, they just kind of shoved her out of the way. So, I mean, it's not fair to the young men out there to have to play with a girl and violate the canons of ethics when it comes to masculine behavior. You don't hit girls.
okay. Now I want to play devil's advocate because some people are saying if she's out there and she want to play, it's fair game.
No, it is not. You don't
I
hit
agree.
girls.
I agree.
And
I'm
it's
just
just like, no, I'm sorry, coach. I'm not going to hit that girl. I'll go sit on the bench, but as long as that girl's in there, I'm not hitting her. That's the other team. So the team in question just said, no, we've been taught we are supposed to protect girls, so we can't play football full on hard hitting if we got to take time out to protect somebody you decided to put out there who can't even really kick. At least not what she did. She kicked about a 25-yard punt. And if she's on the kickoff team, then you're the last person between the guy
end
doing
zone.
the 75, 80-yard run back and the goal line, and that's not cool either.
Well,
It's
let me
just
say
a
something.
stunt. See, women and men are of equal value, but we are not equal. We do different things. For 4 billion years, Mother Nature has been setting up a breeding scheme on this planet. And just because somebody gets a bright damn idea does not mean you're going to overturn all of that evolution.
Okay. Now, let
Damn
me
it,
ask
go
you.
find something else to do. Women have enough that is special to their condition the guys can't do, and vice versa. So just, don't get in the wrong kitchen. Your
Now,
job as a woman is not to get beat on. You're to be protected from getting beaten. So we don't need you breaking up the paradigm by trying to put yourself in a position where you'll physically get your ass kicked.
okay. Now, I want to say something to you about that because also we
That
got
even
to.
goes for the ones in front line in an infantry unit. Any society that has to depend upon its women for being frontline warriors is going bankrupt. Women may have to fight, but that's sort of like when everything else is going to hit the fan, because what it works out as is if the men of the tribe haven't got it and they get defeated, they're going to kill off all the guys and take all the pussy from the girls.
Okay, that's pretty much
That's
how.
kind of where it works. So when you got a stockade of the village walls, everybody's on the wall when it counts because
Okay.
it's all out. But until then, no, you don't need to do that. And one of these G.I. James is going to get captured and her pussy is going to get snatched and she's going to get returned 8-9 months pregnant. And then somebody's going to get all worked up about it.
Okay, now let me say something to you here. So, 'cause I want
That
to
was
bring
just
this.
reality.
Okay, no, I'm not talking about her. But I'm just saying this is also happening in your state of Tennessee, and I remember this even before I even had met you. Last year you had a guy dress up as the homecoming queen
Oh,
in
that
Tennessee.
ass. That punk ass. He should have been on the football team. It's a place called White Station High School. And
Yeah.
I sent them a note saying I was ashamed of having ever spoken there. Got all these pretty sisters that were running, and he gets elected homecoming queen. Oh, come on. And his
Where
mama
is
was
that at?
so happy.
Where's that state? Where's that place at?
White Station
Is that
is out
in
toward
you?
North Memphis.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, because I remember seeing it on the news one day. But you know
Big
something?
Bozo had on a sequin off shoulder dress or something.
But you know something? I was looking last night. They said LeBron James and there was another person, but they said sports person of the year. Now, not sportsman or sportswoman anymore. It's sports person. So
Bullshit.
you got this woke sports thing coming on now, where it's sport. Like they want to change the word manhole and just make it whole. So they're trying to take out words now and stuff. Like they're getting on this woke train.
Bullshit is bullshit.
Okay.
I look. He, she, it.
And also, I meant to tell you, Black
And
Lives Matter.
also, let's get candid. What do they call warships? Warships are known as she's, not he's.
Okay,
She's
okay,
a beautiful aircraft carrier. She's a beautiful submarine. She's a beautiful PT boat. She's a beautiful battleship. She's a beautiful destroyer. That's just tradition. He, she, it. All of the Romance languages, they have tenses and male and female. Ends with an A or ends with an O.
okay. Now,
Let's get look. I can't help it because you're sick in your head and you don't like what you are. See, that's what the problem is. Nobody wants to talk about is sickness. That's like I don't like being black. I want to be something else. I'm an other. No, fool. He call you black. Those statutes that define what you are that you want to get away from are rather explicit. Quote, any known colored ancestry will cause the possessor to be declared colored for purposes of this statute. And that
okay,
was a reality in my life. They would jack your ass up. You don't go to use that water fountain. And then there are a lot of fools talking about desegregation was the enemy of black folk. No, that's not quite the case. Segregation by law is a hell of a lot different than what you do when you exercise a choice.
okay,
Being able to make the choice is one thing. White folk could use any water fountain they would damn well please. Black folk had to use the colored water fountain. There's a difference.
okay. Now let me break this up because I got to bring this in here. So, like, we are just talking about that, and like I was looking at that part about the sports person, but I also ran across.
Damn sports person, sportsman. You
Look,
call a cow a bull? No, it's a damn cow.
okay. Now let
And
me
you
let me
call
bring this
it
up.
men, not whoa wham. What the hell are you supposed to call humanity? Mankind? Or what you supposed to do? Person kind? The hell person you talking about? A dog?
Okay. Now let me go here and bring this up. Now I realized over the last couple of months, the BLM crowd is actually deteriorating. They're saying that the chapter
You mean the
the
black
founders
lesbian mania crowd?
the founders have not been giving the money to the
Oh
chapter.
no, they've been that's their hustle. They're paying them getting info 411. I haven't gone back to rely fact check, but it looks like they're getting themselves paid $250,000 a year. So one fat one can go around and put gold grease on and pose naked with her hog-looking self in front of all of these city halls and police stations. And that's another thing too. We need to implement body shaming again. Some of these fat pigs running around talking about they're beautiful is ridiculous. Did you that thing? Remember the video we shared about that fat cow going in there half naked with all of that ham on each side hanging out, uncured ham, trying to do that twerk up in that restaurant in front of those
Oh
people?
yeah, the Dallas restaurant. Okay, I was wondering where you was going. I was gonna bring that up next. You beat me to it. Okay.
Oh, that hog that went in there, not the one where the brother ran the one down in Dallas. I'm talking about where that fool had on that off pink outfit with her titties hanging out and her big butt looking like it should have been, oh man, looked like two country cured hams hanging in the back of a country store.
So let me ask you a question about this Dallas thing because this is a big. I mean, to me, it got
He
more.
did what he's supposed to, and his
Okay.
business has picked up since. He said, quote, if you don't like it, get the fuck out my restaurant.
Okay.
He said, I'm in here trying to run something good for black people, and I'm trying to get the brothers to respect the sisters, and I want the brothers to understand that the sisters deserve respect, and nobody's going to get it by some fool coming in here trying to twerk up in a restaurant and got butt all up in the plate glass, liable to fall through and get half of our butt parts sheared off. That would have been funny.
But now let me say something though. But if that would have happened, she would have claimed a suit against him.
Of course. So he
Okay.
did what he's supposed to. By the way, he's a lawyer too. Proud of him. He just said, "No, I run this place. I'm responsible for it. These are the rules. We're not gonna have this shit."
Okay.
And so he stood up on a chair, said, "Cut the music off. Look, this is what's gonna be. So let's stop this. It ain't gonna happen."
So I'm gonna ask you a question. I know where I'm at, and I want to find out where you at on this one. What do you say to the blue check crowd on Twitter who say, "Oh, they shaming women, oh, they black women"?
Fuck them. Fuck them. In fact, no,
Okay.
I wouldn't say that. They might enjoy it.
But yeah, the blue check crowd was going a little
I
crazy
don't
on
give a
Twitter.
damn about blue check crowd. The hell with them.
Oh.
See, look,
I mean, you got to say,
Joseph
I think the same way. I
Joseph
just think.
Goebbels, Joseph Goebbels, Nazi minister propaganda, should tell a lie long enough, loud enough, you can get anybody to believe it. Two lies come to mind. Is one, that big lie about these blue check little airbrush China dolls and idiots actually speak for the public. They don't. The next one is one of the ones you get is the blonde haired, blue eyed Aryan Superman that the lies of the Nazi Party popularized. Aryan Nation, Aryan Brotherhood. You know what an Aryan looks like?
You gonna say Kamala Harris, ain't you?
Exactly. She is
Okay.
technically a Tamil Hindu Brahmin caste Indo Aryan Caucasian. They did found the German people, but they were paper bag brown to darker with coarse hair. They weren't blonde haired, blue eyed. That's a lie that Hitler told his boys, the Nazis told. Nazi stands for National German Socialist Workers' Party. Sound familiar? The socialist part of it?
Well, let me say something to you because when I looked at this thing the other day, not about that, but I was looking like, I mean, the BLM crowd now they got a coloring book to talk to children
Oh,
and
I've
stuff.
seen that. Yeah, I mean, look, I've got grandchildren, so no how, no damn way. If
Yeah.
my
So
son doesn't have the balls to go down there and jump shit, I sure as hell will. But you show that sick shit up in there to anybody that I have, I'm leaving a legacy to. Take
now,
that sick shit and go shove it under one of your nasty ass fantasies and go keep it in your own damn bedroom.
now I want to bring something to you. This was a topic of discussion. This happened on the day before. what they call Thanksgiving, and you had an interview on the Breakfast Club with Barry Soetoro.
Why are you quoting Barry? Why are you quoting Bathhouse Barry and those sissified creeps on Breakfast Club to me? There's nothing any of the four of them can say I'd give shit worth of attention to.
Well, he's been having a string of interviews lately, right?
Who's he? You mean Bathhouse Barry?
Yeah,
I don't give a damn. He was a
but
charlatan sham. I said that when he first started running. I said he's fake. He's not gonna do a damn thing to us. Oh, Joe, I said no, he ain't gonna do a damn thing. They said, how'd you know he wasn't gonna? I said I can tell.
now,
I've seen these fake Negroes for years and years. He's not even an American Negro. He is a bush bunny out of Kenya,
um, now let me
raised
say,
in the jungles of Indonesia.
now let me say something to you here because I want
By
to.
the way, he was living in a country that was considered communist by the State Department until he was 10 years old.
Oh, okay, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, wait. I don't know what happened. Might be zooming in on us again. You know how they
Somebody,
do.
no, somebody tried to call me,
Okay,
and I'm on my iPad Pro. And what
okay.
happens is it's got to go through my
Phone, I got you.
phone. So what happened with that was that.
Well, let me say something because he been coming on these shows, and he comes out now. Back now, Black Lives Matter slogan is defund the police, but he's saying stop saying defund the police. It alienates people. So
He just
now
needs to shut the hell up.
he's been on what you call a switcheroo lately, and is also making people of the BLM crowd. So all these organizations are ready to self-destruct and clash. And when you have an unnatural organization like that, it clashes and it hits the fan. And I love to see it.
Oh, yeah, he's a charlatan.
Yeah,
He's
but
a fake. Like Jesse Jackson said, he needed his balls cut off for sitting up there telling that lie that black people pay child support worse than any other ethnic group in the country. Reverend Jackson and I were sitting next to each other on an airplane for a transcon flight, and we were discussing it. He was as well aware of the fact as I was that black people, black men, are the ethnic group that pays their child support better than any other in the whole country, by far better. And that charlatan bathhouse boy was up in there trying to say we pay it worse. So, more of that crap and more of this confusion this fool is sitting up there spreading amongst the former slaves. Oh, no. I don't listen to that. I have more respect for self and my people.
okay. Well, let me say something. So when he said that, and then there's the defund the police thing. So just so it happened yesterday, and they had a Senate debate with Warnock, and I want to get to Warnock right quick. He's running for the Senate in Georgia, and he is a guy that Obama and Stacey Abrams are backing. Right?
I know that. See, you got to get away from these handkerchief heads
I
that they
got
are
you.
running who have absolutely nothing to offer you. Let me tell you what the game is. It's gay folk I don't have problems with. I do have a problem with the LGBTQ cult. The LGBTQ cult has about 6% of the registered voters. In some states like Georgia, where you have 17%, 18, 20, 26% of the registered voters are black in the state, what happens is if you consider that half of them are Democrat, half of them are Republican, basically what you do is you take, say, 26% plus 6, that's 32% of the registered voters, and they're all on one side. That's 32% versus 18%. So they basically control the Democratic Party. So what happens is the LGBTQ cult with the black bloc vote controls the politics for one party. But unfortunately, stupid house Negroes and Negroes off the plantation and non thinking Negroes are so loyal to the Democratic Party that they won't come off of that plantation and they get absolutely no benefits. So they put these LGBTQ cultists in who deliver everything to their gay constituents, and black folk get nothing. Not one penny, not one dime, and they get some Section 8 nonsense that is bandied around and then not even voted on when these folk that they send to D.C. get to D.C.
Okay.
So it's time we got some benefits for our votes. In other words, sell your votes for benefits. But you see, we're like a stupid hoe. It's like they give up the pussy before they get paid.
Okay, and now let me say something about
Speaking
Georgia.
of which, how in the hell are we supposed to have a self-confessed street walking hoe like Cardi B speaking for black folk? Where in the hell she come from any damn way? She's not even from America.
Let me bring something to you, because actually Shakima brought this up yesterday, and I told you the lady name is Ruby Freeman and some other name, but actually this is like kind of like some sting operation stuff too, because these servers and these election things have been getting raided, but they're making black women the face of election fraud. But really, to tell you the truth, it's more sinister behind that. But when you start to do stuff like that and get involved in it, you actually get yourself and they make you the face of it. I don't like that too much, but I'm just talking about
Why
these raids.
not? It's true. See, like the local Democratic Party here, the Central Committee has very few black men involved, but a whole lot of sisters. You can't tell them anything. I had an argument with one a few months ago at a local radio station. She's claiming that the number one problem in Memphis is not the situation that black folk face. It's that black folk don't give enough consideration to the local gay population. So go outside and look around this place. How in the world can you say something so stupid?
You know, it's mighty funny you mentioned that, because when I saw this and they got a black woman talking and telling them how to throw away votes and hide the USB use and all that, I'm like, do you realize that you were living in the 21st century with Patriot Act type stuff, cameras, anything get you raid? They've been raiding these. I mean, they've been doing raid. They did a raid in Germany. One of the soldiers, some soldiers got hurt. They did a raid in another
Well,
place.
what that's about is the executive order that Trump signed in 2017 that got backed up by a joint resolution of the House and Senate under the guise of supposedly going after the Russians who supposedly got Trump in office. He didn't have anything, the Russians didn't have anything to do with my vote. I know that, nor anybody else that I know. But in any event, that was what they wanted. But what happens is it makes it a military matter if there is an outside interference in the election process. So you've got an entity that's based in Spain that's counting the votes, and an entity based in Canada counting the votes. So they kept the CIA out of the loop because it was compromised, and the United States Army, along with units of the Bundeswehr, raided and seized a lot of records from the Spanish concern as it operated in Germany. Also, some of the CIA records, and they're coordinating them. Right now, you've got some Republican legislative bodies in certain states that are crucial are just saying we're not going to certify anybody. So this week, early next week, they're supposed to show up and see what happens. And if don't have everybody there, it goes to the House. And the 12th Amendment says each state gets one vote, just one vote, no matter how many congressmen it has. No matter how big it is, no matter how small it is, it gets one vote. So you can count up the red states versus the blue states. And that equates to Trump still in the White House. That may not happen, but there is an increasingly high probability that it will. By the way,
Well,
what are we supposed to do? Congresspersons now or congressmen? Been
well,
calling them congressmen for 200 years. Why change?
Well, I got something else to say, and but I wanted to say I did watch his Georgia some of the Georgia rally, and I realized that the people are standing up and saying, "Hey, look, if y'all legislatures don't back Trump, we're gonna not vote for you in the Senate." So I wanted to say something. They actually are showing you how to get them done. You got to put the pressure on the legislators and stuff, because this will be against the will of the people. So they saying, no, you're gonna do what you're gonna do. This is why I tell a guy, Trump's populist appeal has let people know, hey, no, you get these people in order. Trump ran on the premise of getting the Republican and Democratic Party in order, and that's what he's doing, holding everybody accountable.
He is, but you see, the Negroes, a lot of white folk too, they don't get that. They believe CNN, Crying Negro Network.
Judge, CNN is divesting now. They found out
No, what happens? AT&T
AT&T is
is
divesting.
trying to divest itself of CNN. They had a few offers, but so far no takers. CNN is a crying Negro network. It's got a weak tea of Van Jones's crying butt ground up for the tea. Don Lemon's little sissy butt squeezed for the lemon juice, and Anderson Cooper's sissified butt squeezed for the lots of sugar they put in there. So it's some oversweetened, weak lemon flavored tea.
I was
And
just
you
reading a
get
report the
nothing.
other day.
The connection
Simon,
between news reporting and CNN is like historical fiction. You set a movie, book in World War II, so you have a real battle of the Bulge, but you have fictional characters in it. That's kind of what they do right now. Recent historical based fiction to
well,
make a good story and
I was looking
entertain.
at Simon and Schuster and Random House, and another thing. CNN, Fox News ratings are taking. Hollywood is almost dead. Hollywood is even going down. So, a lot of the entities that
Good,
you've been
good,
knowing
but
a long
colored
time.
folk will bail them out. See, ABC and Disney were going down, but that movie Black Panther and the black turnout bailed Disney and ABC out. They were up a trick bag because they couldn't even come up with the interest on what is somewhere around $1.25 billion judgment taken against them in 2011. Started out at 680 million. So they needed at least the interest. So black folk, colored folk gave them the interest
And
payments.
another thing, like ESPN is laying off hundreds of employees, so people not even watch. So that's good that these and some of these entities that we used to hold dear are falling apart.
Well, that's good in one way. Uh, Perhaps that's the only way we can get the First Amendment protected. But the problem is when you start getting into the smaller media, you give voice to a lot of marginal crank people that aren't vetted out of the picture, and they publish all kinds of stupidity that the gullible believe.
Okay, now I got another little thing for you here. So, speaking of First Amendment, can you explain to the people Section 230?
There's no Section 230 to the First Amendment.
Trump's been talking about trying to use Section 230 with the Twitter people to break up their
That's got something to do with FCC
yeah,
and
that's
some
it.
other
Section
things.
230,
In
yeah.
other words, that's what you're talking about is in the code sections dealing with monopolies.
Yeah, because they
They
saying,
should break them up because, like for example, I posted something. It was a poster, so to speak, and it quoted Joseph Goebbels, the Nazi minister of propaganda, about telling lies and how you get people to believe it.
and they took it down.
It went through Twitter, no problem, but somebody pasted it on Facebook and immediately got put in Facebook jail.
That's right. That
So
happened to me.
Facebook is one of the worst offenders. And by the way, I wouldn't deal with Facebook with your account because Facebook is too hooked up with the wrong kind of law enforcement and snooping on the citizens. So people just love them some Facebook, but every time you put a picture on Facebook, they use it to analyze not only your face and the people in your picture, but the people in the background. So now they have 80% of the American adults who are subject to facial recognition algorithms.
Mm-hmm. And they also got
So
half
you're
the
just contributing to Big Brother every damn time you use Facebook. But we don't get it.
Well, they got some other sites they've been going to
Ooh, I
now.
got a post of where I was. Like, for example, idiots that are trying to hide something in a lawsuit get on Facebook and start bragging about it. Like, damn, fool, what's wrong with you? This was of issue. You denied it when you were testifying, and here you are bragging about doing it. Like some clown, for example, somebody sent me something. He bought his girlfriend a $3,000 pair of custom tennis shoes and a 14-month-old child a $2,000 pair of custom tennis shoes, and he's claiming he's broke.
Okay. I know we got wrap up because it took me a good hour. I was funny last week. I was looking at a video a friend of mine sent me about a lot of people waiting in line for the new PS5 on Black Friday. And yeah, there's a PlayStation game system, Judge. I mean, it was like, but they only had two of them in the store. And a lot of people, one guy said he waited over 36 hours to get that game system. And what made it so bad, one guy, he said they were just actually trying to make the media accountable for what they're doing, making it look like it's a lot of PS5s there, but it's really not. Um, um, it wasn't really what's going on because the guy was just trying to expose the media for what they were doing, making it look a long line, make people wait outside knowing they didn't have a lot of items. So my thing
Wait a
was,
minute. Why? That's like those damn fools waited 2.5 hours in the hot sun 2 years ago to get a damn Popeyes fried chicken sandwich. Somebody called in on a radio station. I waited 2.5 hours. It was a delicious chicken sandwich. You don't know what the hell you talking about. I said, sir, I wouldn't wait 2.5 hours in a 5-star restaurant before I got served. You're damn fool. No class, no self-respect self. Waited 2.5 hours in a 90-degree sun so you could get a damn greasy, high-calorie, high-cholesterol fried chicken sandwich from Popeyes. You have lost your mind.
but come to
They
Virginia,
need to
come
open
to
the
Virginia and
doors to
ride
the
in the street for me, Judge.
plantation up for you again.
Come to Virginia and ride that street for me. We ride by Popeye right now. It's probably packed outside right now. So hey, what it is.
Well, you
But
know why they're packed right now. You remember when it went down?
yeah.
They ate up all of the small chickens they were using for the sandwiches. So, damn, they had to grow some more, hatch them out and grow them.
Well, I yeah, I mean, I just looked at it like, man, I'm not waiting that long for no game system, man. That's just crazy as hell, man. That's
Why?
just
Wait a minute. Wait. Right now, you are a damn fool if you do not use this hiatus caused by COVID-19 to improve yourself. What the hell are you going to do? Join the army, which you probably can't get in because you don't have the academic credentials, even to be an enlisted man now. So, other than operating a high tech weapon system, what the hell are you trying to worry about the latest GameCube for when you ought to be reading up on something or taking some online courses and getting yourself an online degree or some certification to get a better job? You got to be a damn fool.
well, and look, man, and look, some of these were black men out there crying too about this game too, Judge. That's what made me so mad.
They look, a lot of Negroes love being on the plantation. Massa
Okay.
fed them.
Okay, now let me ask you one more thing, and I'm gonna let you go. Oh, and then you gotta give out the information. Okay, but look, I'm gonna say this. See, and the problem I got with this thing with that, I also know some women that actually was out there doing the same thing.
Same damn thing. You are a fool if your objective in this situation is to go amuse yourself instead of bettering yourself.
Okay,
And
I
you
gotta.
tell me how the hell you're bettering yourself playing a game in a distraction.
Okay, here we go. I got a guy got a thing.
I forgot. They're waiting on the check getting cut for reparations and everything would be all right. Well, if they ever indicate they're going to get a check cut, I'm going to get a big interest in a sporting goods place so I can get all their damn money when they go buy a pair of Nikes or Air Jordans in all colors available for each of their kids several boyfriends of themselves.
Well, let me say something. This guy said Facebook will allow you to say nigga, but will suspend your account if you say cracker. Censorship.
And what did I say about Facebook in the first damn place?
well, the thing I gotta ask you, Judge, is for the people. I know you said you had some things to do and had to catch you last minute, but you just want to do a man up Monday with you, so I thank you for coming back. But shout out your information, Judge.
You can find me on Twitter at Judge Joe Brown TV, at Judge Joe Brown TV, and I do not have a blue check.
Okay.
And I'm shadow blocked all to hell, but you can probably find what I put out there if you go to my home page.
You got a show on Friday, don't you?
Yeah, that's with Valerie Denise Jones. It is the Judge Joe Brown Show.
Okay.
We had an interesting session last Friday, which will be out on syndication this week. And it was a young man. He was in his early 40s, not married, looking for a woman, a wife, no kids, makes big money, works in production in a major broadcast radio network, works for.
What's the brother's name? Chester, right?
Yeah, Chester Davis.
Okay.
And my youngest son, Ryan Brown, they were talking about the ladies. And I think we're going to have a part 2 this Friday, but invite some young girls or girls into this, and we'll see where that goes.
Okay. Well, let me say one thing. I know you. One thing you gotta say. I always tell you, give some props to the men and women, and let them know about the man up part, Judge.
Okay, this is the first Monday of the month, the last of the year, and get your shit together. Man up, stay manned up, and go train some young boys up on how to man up.
Okay. And
a lady friend of mine called me just yesterday. She said, got a problem. I said, what is it? She said, my middle son, he's in his early 20s, he got to dealing with this liberated female. And she's telling him how awful I was to him because I spanked him. She said, excuse me, but I went off on him. I said, you should have. She said he got through college. He's got a decent job. He hasn't been to jail. And he wants to complain about it. And he's talking about his self-esteem was damaged because I took a strap to his ass every now and then when he got out of line. She said, I hate to admit this, but I cussed him out. I said, you should have.
Yeah, well,
and his youngest brother told him to stop being a sissy and, as Judge Joe Brown says, man the hell up.
Well, I tell you what, Judge. We surely
hate the message.
Well, I'm glad that you came by again. Man, up Monday, Black Power. Take your time in Memphis and keep the faith, brother, and be strong.
Power to the people, yo.
Yes, sir, brother.
The GOAT has been Joe coming to you through your show. Anyway, I'll leave and come back when I can, and I'm the one that is going to be the one that ran. I float, I fly, I don't walk on the planet Earth. Some centimeters of space between the soles of my feet and the sidewalk. I have come as promised and prophesied. Touch me. Verily, your senses deceive you not, because I have become manifest in the flesh. This is Joe on the go, and I'm out of here.
All right, you too, brother. You take your time.
All right.